The way to defend academic freedom is to use it and spread it to more people. Service intellectuals need academic freedom so that they can work in the public interest. Linking academic freedom to the public interest like that is the only way to get public support for academic freedom. To make that link, people who have academic freedom have to use it prominently in the public interest. That will give academic freedom a reputation as something that serves the public rather than as something that gives job security to an elite. The bigger the disparity between the rights of workers who have academic freedom and the rights of workers who don't, the harder it is to defend academic freedom. So we need to take the position that everyone should have academic freedom. The workplace is where people have their biggest interaction with society, and so that is where it is most important that they have the right to express their views. Part of academic freedom is the freedom to decide what to work on. I will argue that professors don't use that part of their academic freedom either, just like the freedom of expression part. Professors are said to be self-directed in their research, but who really determines the topics that they work on? To ask who determines the topics is to ask who in society professors serve in their work. Let's look at science professors as an example. A scientist's research can go in any of a vast number of scientifically interesting directions at every juncture. Which of these directions does the scientist deem most interesting? Might it be a direction that holds promise for attracting the interest of a funding agency, or a potential consulting client, or for pleasing reviewers in a peer review system that favors the status quo? In Disciplined Minds, I quote the boss of a major corporate research facility that employs more than 500 PhD scientists and engineers. He says, quote, "You can't select problems for true scientists, much less tell them how to attack the problems, but you can make sure that they are fully informed of the needs of the company businesses that pay the bill." End of quote. Well, university scientists are just as aware of who is paying the bill. Professors are directed in ways that allow them to think of themselves as self-directed. Consider unsolicited grant proposals as an example. These research plans are created completely by the researchers. However, the scientists know that most proposals are rejected. The National Science Foundation, for example, rejects nearly 30,000 of the 40,000 proposals it receives each year. That rate is typical for funding agencies. So professors who want to do research inevitably have funding agencies' interests in mind as they plan their work and write their proposals. Consciously or unconsciously, they tilt their interests toward those of the sponsors. And the sponsors know this. For example, the Office of Naval Research, which is a big funder of basic physics in the United States, says this, quote, "Although contracts are usually awarded in response to unsolicited proposals, ONR makes every effort to publicize its research needs so that its programs and interests can be taken into account by prospective contractors." End of quote. Thus, funders find they can arouse the proper research interests in scientists without saying very much. Their money talks and is brilliantly articulate. But they have people who talk too. The Office of Naval Research describes its program officers as people who, quote, "maintain long-term relationships with investigators, giving ONR an invaluable ability to apply relatively small investments early in the conceptual stages of a project with great influence on the focus of the work." End of quote. So scientists and other professionals have what I call assignable curiosity. If the Air Force Office of Scientific Research were to make $50 million available to universities for basic research in lasers, then university professors would do $50 million worth of basic research in lasers. In general, scientists and other salaried professionals control the technical means of their work, but not its social goals. Of course, it doesn't have to be that way, and I call upon professors to use their academic freedom to take control of the social goals of their work.